Hey guys, this is Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today's October 1st, and I wanted to show you some changes on the college football cheat sheet, specifically for player props and prize picks. So there are so many games. One of the things we talk about is scouting the games and digging through the lines. So originally what we did is we take the average per game for whatever stat we're looking at, the prize pick line, and then the projection, and then we look at the difference. So we've always had the projection versus the line, the difference as the gap. However, it is maddening to me. I cannot find anyone that has a good projection system for college props. They are just so far off, it's just sickening. So one of the things that I'm going to do next week that I did on this sheet, I'm playing with it this week to see kind of what it does, but I really like it. So next week I'm going to flip it over to the difference between the average per game and the line. That's what the gap is going to show. And then you can just use the projection as a reference, as opposed to previously, we would look at the projection minus the prize pick line and use the average as a reference. And I don't like that at all. I think that's terrible. I haven't had success digging up plays. I've spent a lot more time. I flipped it around this morning. And again, it's Saturday, October 1st, 2022. And I was easily able to dig up a handful of plays that I really liked, and I didn't spend a bunch of time on it. So I want to kind of show you what we're going to look at. So average versus line, that's what's going to show in the gap. We are going to use the projection for kind of a baseline to take a look at. And so some of the games that come out here, let me find. So for example, right here, Will Rogers, Mississippi State going up against Texas A&M. He's averaging 346 and a half passing yards per game. That is insane. And then his line is 280.5, and he's projected for 385. He's not going to throw for 385 against Texas A&M. That's absurd. But is he going to get over the 280? I believe he can. So that's one of the ones that came up. The other one here is Ryan Hilinski for Northwestern going up against Penn State. Looking at this game, it's 213.5 as his line. He's projected for 132. Well, he's averaging almost 300 passing yards per game, which is absurd. So he averages 298 passing yards per game. His price pick line is 213. So that would say over if we were looking at his average versus his price pick line. However, look at his projection, 132. Like, where do they even come up with that number? That's just idiotic to me. Now, I don't think it's going to be 132. I don't think it's going to be 298, but 213, I think we can get over that number. So this is going to point us right here. We see this green difference of 85. So we're going to go look at Ryan Hilinski. So pull up your prize picks. We're going to go Ryan Hilinski. There he is. Oh, he went away. I put another L in there. And so here we got 213.5 passing yards. And you can click here and look at his game. So he's had 314, 435 against Duke, only 213 against Southern Illinois, which not a big deal, and then 287 against Miami of Ohio. So 213, that's a number I would look at and say over, over, over. And he's not just sliding over like 215, 220, 230. 314, I mean, he's 100 yards over that number. Here he's 200 yards over that number. And here he's a good 70 yards over that number. So this is something you can use to identify plays. So typically what I did once I flipped this around is I just kind of scrolled through here and I said, okay, Will Levis, Kentucky, looking at this. Line's 236. This is one I want to look at. Projected 219. So we're going to take a look at this. Mississippi's a tough defense, but we just come over here to prize picks. I'm going to type in and pull him up, and we are going to look at his passing yards per game, and we see, okay, he's got 303, 377, only 202 against Florida, and then 303 against Miami of Ohio. So these are going to help you identify plays a little bit easier. And then something new I'm working on, you can dig through this and look it up. But if you want to sort them all, because I can't really sort this table the way it's pulled, I'm going to have a stats tab, and you can see it's not real pretty and color-coded and all that stuff right now. But what I do is I was playing with just having a tab with all of the stats for the whole season, and then so this is the current season totals, and then I broke it out in per game averages so we can take a look at these. And right now we do the passing yards, which are over here. We do the rushing yards, and then we do the receiving yards per game. But I can also easily pull in the receptions, reception TDs. We have targets in here. That's a good stat to look at. Rushing attempts is another one. But like here for passing yards, we have passing yards per game, the price pick line, and then the difference. So we can see the difference for the averages. So what we would do, and I should have this on there next week, is we'd come here and just get rid of the blanks. So if it's not a quarterback, it just goes blank. So we want to get rid of those. So we pull them to the top. And we're going to sort this by difference. And these are going to bring up the top ones that are averaging the most passing yards per game over the current line. So we can see Ryan Hilinski comes right to the top. Then we have Will Rogers with Mississippi State. And then we have another Will with Kentucky, KJ Jefferson. Now you might look at KJ Jefferson and say, yeah, he's averaging 52 more yards a game, but he's going up against Alabama. That's a tough defense, so maybe we don't go after that one. But if you see someone in an average matchup, then that's one you can go out and take a look at. Again, this isn't pretty and fine-tuned, but this is going to be a good way for us to dig up player prop lines, same game parlays, and price picks. So that's my quick look. Have a good day.